to the period in time where the waves were very high regarding management on the government estates. He demonstrated at that time his confidence in his own people to manage. He demonstrated his confidence in young people to manage. The short of it, Mr. Chairman, is that from early as way back in 1998, his actions upon my life has been nothing less than positive, encouraging, and inspiring. When he declared that he had confidence in me to manage the Frome Sugar Estate, which up to that time was almost the reserve of persons of a lighter skin and a more royal accent. And he oversaw the transition of overseas management to local management in the sugar industry. And despite the criticisms then, history has absolved the man. Because up to that point in time, where people were criticizing Frome for producing 80,000 tons of sugar, I know of celebrations taking place for 35,000 now. Our paths would have crossed again when I decided to enter into representational politics in 2007. I had Councillor Jimmy Mackenzie at my side, in front of me, to my back at the time.
Yes, politics makes strange bedfellows.
I am aware of your choice of word. Because what applied years ago is good grammar. Nowadays that's very good. Mr. Chairman, most of my colleagues here would remember I was a participant in the then famous 5-man race. But true to form, Roger Clark, with one utterance, made me know where I stood in the race. You may remember, Jimmy, when he leaned back in the chair at the Ministry of Agriculture and said to us, Portia has asked me, I'm going to ask Sonia. And for those of us who don't know, Sonia is his wife.
Yes.
And from he said that, I know and knew then that the race done. To show the depth of character of the man, when we had the first party meeting to welcome him into the constituency, I would say that the level of exuberance shown that evening was second to none. And after all the turmoil, he sat there with hands clasped, looking and taking in all the criticisms that came to him being brought in. And when time passed, he got up with his commanding stature and raised his hands, and silence fell upon the room. And he said in part, I am from Westmoreland. Is up at Glen Island, West Williamsfield, I born. I went to Manning School. I am no stranger to Westmoreland. And the icing on the cake, after taking all the cursing, he leaned over and said, and I love you all. And it was done. We went to the bar to imbibe, and it was celebrations thereafter. When asked in the presence of his counselors, who he refers to as his sons, when he calls you and you answer, Minister, how you doing, son? When one makes that communication level of referring to you as son. It was not just talk. He walked the walk. He treated us as his sons, despite all our shortcomings from time to time. A forgiving man. I've known persons who have lost their place with him, and he has not returned the same. I've always said to him, I could never be like you. Councillor Finance can attest to that, because I have my own style of instilling discipline. And so he has demonstrated to me through his actions that he lived a full life. Because only a man who has lived a full life could be so forgiving, could be so generous. Not just in cash, for which he is renowned, but also in advice. I want to say to Minister, MP, Roger Clark, Comrade Roger Clark, thank you for not only protecting me from my enemies, thank you for protecting me from my own self. Because he taught me that the first thing to do is to resolve your own issues before you can look to resolve others. I ask that we all, in our prayers, remember his dear wife. Leadership, particularly in a country like Jamaica, cannot be compared with anywhere else. Persons compare the Westminster style with England. But 99% of the electorate in England cannot come within touching range of their MPs. They will see them on TV. Particularly my Jamaican brothers who live in England, if they ever dare to come within touching distance of their MPs, they know what the bobbies will do to them. This was a man who made himself available to all. This was a man, despite your political persuasion, gave to all. I want to remember him also for his humor. He once shared a story with us of having just returned from overseas. You can take off watch. He went to the pharmacy to get his usual medicine. And when he went, the door was locked. Hello. And he said to himself, at this time of the day, the pharmacy door should not be locked. So he knocked. And a young man came and then cracked the door. I said, I can help you? He said, yes. Where is Mary? I come to buy my medicine. The young man said, come, Mary inside. As he passed the young man, he felt the point of a gun in his back. And then he realized that he walked into a robbery. The young man took him to the back of the room where everybody else was tied up, including Mary, and sat him down. Sit down, boy. And after much deliberation with his partner in crime, the gunman declared, we're going to shoot this one. So Roger said, shoot me? You know who I am? I am Roger Clark. Man said, he said, yes, man, I'm me named Roger Clark. Everybody know. Make sure with gold for money in. See some here. Don't kill me. Anytime you see me after this, rob me. The gunman had to laugh and let him go. I don't know if any one of us here would have had that calmness under the circumstance to come up with humor in order to quiet the situation as he did. Yes. And his reputation is tall for that. He has left many monuments in his constituency. And I want you to start with the country. The constituency, not least among which stands the sugar barracks housing projects. for which many of the least fortunate among us have benefited. The 6 basic schools are there as testimony as to what he has achieved in 1 year as an MP. The highway to which we made reference to this morning, the George Display Clinic, the multi-purpose courts, and there are many others that has touched the lives that we can't see concrete and steel. It was only this year, Mayor, when we went on that last trip to his home before he went off for his operation, that he decided among his sons, his counselors, that we are going to establish a scholarship for tertiary students this year. Little did we know, man. We had it all done and planned, awaiting his arrival to have the function to hand over. But while on his bed, he continued to say, get it on, send off the students to university. I will catch up with them later. The generosity of this man knows no bounds. Central Westmoreland councillors take pride in teasing our colleague councillors to the east and to the west when it comes to generosity of MPs. And I offer no criticism to the MPs there, but I'm just saying how Roger Clark was. He felt blessed. And as the Bible has instructed us, when you give, you will give generosity. And I think that goes on the subject. But unlike some of us in this country, he never forgot from whence he came. He always reminded us as councillors when he got his scholarship to go to Mannings,
3 minutes,
where everybody in the community had to come out and help in making sure he was prepared for school, because Little Raj, I didn't know that he could refer to him as Little Raj, but he obviously was little at some point in time. That Little Raj passed for Mannings. He never forgot to tell us that his little lady's bicycle was what he rode from Williamsfield to Mannings. And on occasions when it punctured, he had to use thread to tie up the tube. The man has come from humble beginnings and he has made the most of opportunities offered to him. And he has done the same for many. Mr. Chairman, I am a broken man, having lost this man to provide guidance to me. Yesterday we welcomed back his body, and we shall respectfully lay him to rest this Saturday and place him beside his mother as he had requested. This country owes the Honorable Roger Clark a debt of gratitude. Thank you.